This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. Talking the stories that are shaping headlines, plus those that make you go,
Good morning, Sharjah and the United Arab Emirates. The Morning Majlis is here to keep you motivated and to also keep you good company as we are continuing with the shorter work week. We're into the hump day, bang in the middle of the week, and it's only been the second day of us returning to work, which is ideal. A number of you are looking forward to that well-deserved weekend, and some of you were cheeky enough to book a couple of days off, so this could be your first working day. You never know. But a very good morning to all of you for joining us here on the Majlis, and we are going to be talking a lot about the developments here in Sharjah. Al Jada is going to be making some important announcements, and they've been looking forward to building the second phase of the mega project. Plus, we are also seeing a couple of developments abroad and also when it comes to fighting the spread of COVID-19.
That's right, Abdul Karim. It's going to be a major point of discussion for us, the state of COVID-19 and ways to prevent its spread. Now, the latest statement from the World Health Organization chief implored people to exercise maximum caution to temper their optimism about the prospect of us finding a vaccine. He said that while there's a number of promising candidates, it could very well be the case that a vaccine will never, ever be found. And so he asked the world to comply with various social distancing measures, hygienic measures as well, in order to contain the spread so far. But we're going to talk about what measures countries are taking around the world to fight the good fight, particularly in tricky, dicey situations, such as a COVID-19 outbreak in a cruise ship. We'll talk about what they're doing, who's implicated in this, and so much more.
Yeah, so much more to discuss this morning as we are asking also about your morning fix. How do you sort of stay motivated, apart from tuning into Pulse 95, which is always the perfect scenario, but your morning fix, how do you get going? What keeps you motivated? For us, it is the wonderful team here at Sharjah Broadcasting Authority that give us that morning coffee to keep us alive and energized throughout the day. So get involved on the discussions. The Majlis is for you. Text lines remain open throughout the program. 4215 for you to get involved. We'll be right back after some musical entertainment, and we'll keep you moving with a bit of a traffic update as well.
Pulse 95.
The Morning Majlis. Talking the stories that are shaping headlines. This is Pulse 95.
Very lively music indeed. Well, welcome back onto the Morning Majlis. Let's get you energized after that little entertainment. We're going to be talking a little bit more about how the United Arab Emirates has been fighting the spread of COVID-19. Now, just a few days ago, we had this wonderful key achievement of the country. In fact, over the weekend, it was with the launch of the Baraka nuclear plant. So not only are we striding towards the space sector, not only are we striding towards clean energy, we're also highlighting highlighting the strength of our healthcare sector when it comes to fighting the spread of COVID-19. A lowest daily increase, and this is all the way since April.
Yes, the UAE did report only 164 new coronavirus cases just yesterday, and that is its lowest daily total since April 1st. Now, officials confirmed a further 248 patients had beaten, the virus as the recovery tally climbed to just about 55,000 so far. No patients died for the third consecutive day. No deaths reported, thankfully, in the Emirates. So now the death tally is at 351 only. And the latest infections were identified after an additional 27,811 tests were carried out. And we're known for our massive test drive here in the nation.
Yes, certainly, Rania. And these numbers are coming courtesy of the Minister of Health and Prevention, Abdulrahman Lawais, who said this during a media briefing. He said the UAE has conducted close to 5.2 million COVID-19 tests since the outbreak began, and that the country's patient recovery rate of 90% is the best in the world. But he said that the most important factor here in fighting the spread of COVID-19, the biggest challenge we are facing is whether or not we implement the necessary precautionary measures. He said we must continue fighting this fight. We cannot get complacent. We cannot get irresponsible. And we must continue supporting the work of our frontline heroes by continuing to practice social distancing, good hand hygiene, and wearing face masks. Residents were also reminded during the briefing of the importance of boosting their immunity system to guard against the coronavirus by exercising regularly, getting sufficient sleep, eating healthy food, and avoiding smoking, which could compromise your lungs and make your coronavirus symptoms worse should you get it. But yes, officials continue to reiterate the importance of acting responsibly, not getting too complacent. You could look at other countries around the world, for instance, China, Germany, even South Korea, which initially had curbed the spread of the COVID-19 effectively to not to overwhelm the healthcare system. But later on, we've had a newer string of cases, and now they're struggling again to contain them. So that's always something to keep in the back of your mind as the fight continues, and the coronavirus is still present in the country, but very optimistic numbers so far with 164 new coronavirus cases, the lowest daily total since April.
Yeah, it's great in terms of how the United Arab Emirates has been fighting the spread of COVID-19 as well, and we've seen the number of precautions that are being undertaken, especially when you go over to the nation's capital. A lot of people do get confused why such a checkpoints exist, but if you look at the map of Abu Dhabi, it covers a vast region. So they have the security precautions in place to make sure that whoever's entering is COVID-free, because the area that they can access as soon as they enter the region of Abu Dhabi, all stretching all the way to Gharbiya region. So they want to make sure that they are looking after their citizens over there. And here across the nation, our healthcare sector is very apt. They're very well equipped to combat the spread of COVID-19 and really cure potential patients. But the idea is of us not being complacent. So many times you can walk into a restaurant and you see that they've now gone lazy with the temperature checks. They don't do that.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's a usual thing. The officials are not here. It's okay to get away with it. These sort of things are one that customers can highlight. They're empowered to do so. A lot of people think, it's okay. No longer is there a national disinfection program. Let me not wear a mask. Authorities have still reminded people, saying, look, if you continue to do this, you can carry a fine of 3,000 dirhams. I think a lot of people have been highlighting this, that the fear of fines, firstly. Secondly, the nature of compliance of UAE residents has been a key factor in actually people following the rules and guidelines. And that's one area that we can see how the United Arab Emirates has done well in fighting the spread of COVID-19. Now, a lot of other countries do impose fines, but they never get enforced to an extent, so especially when it comes to places like Pakistan, India, and wherever, and third world countries to be precise. But this has been very, very impressive what the country's been doing. But it's all about exercising regularly and getting the sufficient sleep.
And also having the education to know how you can spread COVID-19, how the coronavirus spreads, how to stay safe at all times.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not aware, for instance, that you're not supposed to touch your face. You might be touching a surface that would have droplets of the coronavirus and then rub your eyes or nose or mouth, and that's how you would get the coronavirus. A lot of people also don't know that there is strong evidence that the coronavirus can be transmitted in the air. It's not just droplets as well, it's airborne. So that has implications, for instance, for being around people who might be smoking, people who are simply talking. It's not enough for one person in a conversation between two people to be wearing a mask. Both people need to wear it, and because you can still spread it when you're talking and the other person is wearing a mask. So all of these things, we're seeing a lot of progress in that within this country. More and more people are talking to their friends about it. One really important thing here is social enforcement, not just fines, the police telling you got to pay this much and putting you in a state of fear. It's friends really putting each other out, calling one another out should they see any violations. And it's for everybody's betterment. So all of us have to do our part to be responsible, work on ourselves, but also remind the people that we are close to and not be shy about it, because it's for their safety as well. That there are high stakes here and that other people could get hurt. So it's a delight, however, to see the education on the up. We're trying to do our part on Pulse 95, our social media posts, for instance, on Instagram. We're constantly putting out educational content. So, yeah.
Yeah, but just to spread some optimism in the atmosphere here, an analysis of government data by Jason Oak at the University of Oxford and his colleagues actually suggests that there has been a steady and steep decline in the proportion of people hospitalized with COVID-19 dying. They're saying it's encouraging. They're saying we are either getting better at treating this or it's becoming less severe. So it's still evident, of course, that the virus is still out there. We still need to stick to the precautionary measures put by the country's officials. But let's also spread some optimism that we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting closer.
One school of thought is that of my barber, who says the power of corona is fading. So you never know in terms of what's going on. But the idea is we have to play our part in making sure that we're safe, our surroundings are safe. And looking at the daily figures at the moment, 18,196,000 cases. 691,700 deaths have been recorded across the globe. So it is no joke. This is a virus that has affected 188 countries. We will keep you posted. We will be shifting our focus to what the WHO has been saying, and we're also going to be talking about the Norwegian cruise liner. What's happening? All this will be discussed right here on the Morning Majlis, so stay tuned. Share your thoughts on the text lines 4215. We'll give you a bit of a quick traffic update as well to keep you moving, but what we do know is the traffic certainly has built up over time. Stay tuned to Pulse 95.
Join the conversation with the Morning Majlis, Pulse 95.
As the world is waiting for a COVID-19 vaccine, the next big advance in fighting the pandemic could be in the class of biotech therapies that are widely used to treat cancer and other disorders. Antibodies that are specifically designed to attack this new virus. Now, development of monoclonal antibodies to target the virus has already been endorsed by leading scientists. Anthony Fauci, for example, the top U.S. infectious diseases expert, calls them an almost sure bet against COVID-19. The way they work is when a virus gets past the body's initial defenses, a more specific response kicks in, triggering production of cells that target the invader. These include antibodies that recognize and lock onto the virus and prevent it from spreading. Monoclonal antibodies grown in a bioreactor vats are copies of these naturally occurring proteins.
Yeah, and just to give a little bit of background about what original or natural antibodies are, the antibodies are Y-shaped proteins that are produced by the immune system to help stop intruders from harming the body. So when an antigen is found in the body, the immune system will create those antibodies to mark the antigen for the body to destroy. Now, antibodies are produced over days to weeks after the infection with the virus. The strength of antibody response depends on several factors. For example, age, your nutritional status, severity of the disease, and certain medications or infections. But up till now, there is currently no evidence that people who have recovered, for example, from COVID-19, if we're talking about COVID-19 in particular, there's no evidence that people who have recovered from the COVID-19 and have antibodies are protected from a second infection as for now.
Yep, of course, it is going to be, I think the whole world is keeping their fingers crossed for when the vaccine can be out there. AstraZeneca said it plans to start human trials of its dual antibody combination within weeks. Everyone's going to go for a trial. Everyone's going to be hoping for that we get the instant immunity. So we are going to be seeing, in terms of antibodies versus vaccines, which is going to be very useful for us. But it is a lot of safety risks that people need to be considering. The medical industry will be looking at it in greater detail in terms of what is the best fix for this situation.
Absolutely, Abdul Karim. And unlike vaccines, which activate your body and give you that long-term immunity, the effect of these infused antibodies dissipates eventually. But drug makers say they're hoping that it would be a bridge, that as you take this treatment, it would give you enough time, especially if you're at a high-risk group, if you're an elderly or somebody with a more compromised immune system. You could take these drugs for a few months until the vaccine comes out. But as of now, with the safety risks considered low, according to the drug makers, the cost can be extremely high. These type of drugs, when used for cancer, can cost over $100,000 per year. There is also the concern that coronavirus could become resistant to this specific antibodies as well, but researchers say they're working on a way around that, on a second generation of compounds with targets other than the crown-like spikes the virus uses to invade cells as well. So this is an ongoing development as far as we're concerned, with a lot of hurdles to climb over, but it's always promising to read about a new possible treatment, especially one that could benefit those who are more vulnerable than others.
Well, so much to ponder over, so much to hope for as well, so much to keep our fingers crossed. But for the time being, it's time to put a game face on and prepare for the world of sports headlines. And the Morning Majlis shall return right after that. And we'll keep you posted and moving throughout the day. Stay tuned to Pulse 95.
Pulse 95. Between local lines. Notes from the Emirate.
One of my personal favorite times of the year is when Sharjah shopping promotion season kicks off, and it is definitely the largest of its kind shopping campaign across the Emirate. And here, this year, it kicked off starting July 22nd, and it shall run till August 21st. So we still have plenty of time for people who didn't get a chance to go and avail some of those offers and promotions here in the Emirate. It's running across many outlets and shopping malls, including Sahara Center, Al Waha Mall, City Center Sharjah, Zawaya Walk, and 06 Mall, in addition to a large number of retail stores here in the Emirate. And besides exciting offers and discounts of up to 75%, a lot of surprises and attractive prizes were awaiting lucky shoppers, including luxury cars, hotel stays, and much, much more. So in line with that, the Sharjah Chamber of Commerce and Industry has just announced the 3 lucky shoppers who had the chance to win BMW X2 cars.
Yes, indeed, Rania. And this happened during the shopping promotions quiz show that was broadcast on Sharjah TV during the Eid al-Adha holidays. The lucky winners include an Emirati boy, Salman al-Ansari, another Emirati, Maryam Saleh al-Muhairi, and Pakistani Nawab Imran. And it comes as part of the month-long Sharjah shopping promotions that you described, Rania, which more specifically include other prizes like 5,000 dirham gift vouchers and cash prizes valued at over 2,500 dirhams as well.
I'm very jealous of these people.
Me too.
BMW X2 winning that is just... can I have that, please? That would be ideal. Shopping malls and stores in Sharjah have seen a big turnout. That's according to Ibrahim Rashid Al-Jarwan, the director of Sharjah Chamber of Commerce and Industry's Economic Relations and Marketing and General Coordinator of these promotions. They continue to be broadcast on Sharjah TV, so we've seen a number of our colleagues here in Sharjah Broadcasting Authority take part in host the quiz shows, so it is something that you've got to go and head on over as well to these shopping malls to stand a chance to win it. 06 Mall, very popular destination that is hosting these shows, and it is very interesting to see what's happening, because Sharjah Chamber of Commerce and Industry has called on all shoppers and visitors to make the most of these attractive deals and discounts, especially when we approach the new academic year, and we're also approaching very quickly still a while away, the holiday season of the winter vacation. So if you've thought of doing something and getting a present, then do so. And there's a lot of people who are going to be celebrating their birthdays in the coming month. So perfect idea to go on over and buy something from the malls.
Yes, absolutely. This is the best time for it, in fact, and it's always exciting just having the opportunity to go on a sale and buy the things you want to buy. I like getting electronics during these times in particular. So maybe if there's a PS4 console out or controller out there at a good price, maybe 75% off, I'd like to get all over that. Plus groceries as well.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want groceries on discount?
Of course, yeah.
Anything that could top your list for the shopping spree of the summer holidays?
It's always been the same. Shoes.
Shoes at all times?
Never
Yeah.
changes.
I'm trying to think. I'd buy food.
Yeah?
Restaurants. If restaurants can give good discounts, they would really, after a show, we tend to get very hungry, and we always talk about food on the show. Would be ideal if they handed out more discounts on the food. But this is for shopping. This is for going out there, buying new items, buying new clothes as well. So it is the summer months. It's very, very hot out there. So maybe buy some summer wear and get used to the hot weather conditions out there. You never know. But lots of offers, lots of chances to take part in the quiz, and also weekly prizes.
What about our own quiz, the Majlis quiz, the trivia?
Oh, the Majlis quiz, the trivia question that we threw out at you. What country has the world's heaviest tortoise, and what country has the world's heaviest seed? Is also regarded as one of the smallest capitals in the world that can be explored on foot, and also became the destination that hosted the first international airline after the gradual reopening following the pandemic. And an international airline from the United Arab Emirates, Emirates Airline, landed in this country. A lot of people have come back with their answers. It's got a colourful flag. Breadfruit is one of its favourite cuisines. It is none other than she sells seashells in the seashore.
Seashells.
Seychelles, yes. Seychelles is the country. That is the correct answer. So shout out to all of you for getting it right. And thank you for joining our quiz question or city trivia this morning. We'll take a bit of a breather and we shall return right after the musical entertainment and talk a little bit more about fighting the spread of coronavirus, how children have to wear their face masks as well. Stay tuned. This is the Morning Majlis, only on Pulse 95.
Entertainment headlines.
Entertainment headlines.
Entertainment headlines.
This is
The Buzz.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the program. We're talking about Taylor Swift. She's out here breaking records. She put out an 8th album, a surprise to many. Folklore has broken several charts in its first week on sale. Now, the record was written and recorded during the coronavirus lockdown in the United States and is a major step away from what Taylor Swift has been doing over the past couple years. She's ditching that pop-heavy, dancey type music for something a lot more subdued and wistful. And it's a hit on Spotify so far. It has achieved over 80.6 million streams in a single day. That's the highest tally for a female artist. And in the United States, it sold over 846,000 copies, which would make it the best-selling record of the year after just 7 days on sale.
Yeah, Taylor Swift also became the first artist in U.S. chart history to have seen albums sell more than 500,000 copies in a single week. And the first female artist also to have 7 albums debut at number 1. Now, her single Cardigan also entered the Hot 100 at number 1, making her the first person ever to debut at the top of the album and singles chart in the same week. Now, as well as also topping the U.S. Billboard chart, Folklore has reached the summit in the UK, Finland, Australia, Norway, New Zealand, and also Belgium.
I first came across Taylor Swift a couple of years ago when her song Love Story became huge.
Yeah, that's true.
I listened to her at that time and I
best
thought,
hits.
Yeah, it remains one of her best hits, certainly. But now, Folklore is the best reviewed album of her career. When I first heard that song, Love Story, I thought, this girl, she's got talent.
Shake It Off is good as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She does have a lot of talent, and she's pretty versatile as a performer. She's pretty much covered the whole gamut as far as being a country music person to a pop icon to some. So she manages to reinvent herself seamlessly, and she never gets stuck doing that one thing. And she threw another curveball with this album, and I think a whole lot of people didn't expect this kind of record to come out with this elaborate classical and folk instrumentation, this toned down yet woodsy, ethereal feel to it. It's somewhat gorgeous in this sad, wistful way. Her newer album, I got to listen to it just during the break right here. And she tackles on the same themes she usually does throughout her music, but there's sort of this complex psychological exploration to it as she talks about childhood memories, love, some of the grudges she's had towards people. And it's a pretty special record, especially the context behind it, the fact that it's been recorded and written during the coronavirus pandemic. So it's pretty cool.
I feel like her songs are kind of sad, you know?
Yeah.
They all have a sad tone to it, to a point where there's this article that listed 9 songs of Taylor Swift that are best for a good crying session.
Yes.
Can you believe that? And that include like songs like All Too Well, White Horse, Betty, what else? Teardrops on My Guitar.
Oh, wow.
And The Last Time are all among those songs that could be a good song or good choices for a good cry session. If you're in the mood for that.
Yep, exactly. So if you're in the mood for that, indeed, then do get involved on the text lines 4215 if you've got any particular opinions about Taylor Swift. But much to your disappointment, Rania, in Ireland, Swift had won 5 number 1 albums, more than any other female artist in the 21st century, even more than Beyonce.
No. Untouchable. Beyonce. Untouchable. That's
Taylor-
an untouchable area.
Taylor
Don't go there.
Swift is much better than Beyonce. How
There
about
you
that?
go.
Oh, don't
We're
say
go-
that.
we're gonna
Don't say
say
that. I will leave the program right now.
Well, that's the perfect way to end it. If I continue to
You're
say
mean.
if I continue to say that, Rania will exile me, and in line with that, we have Exile by Taylor Swift coming up next here on Pulse 95. For now, Morning Majlis will be bidding farewell, and we'll be coming back tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7 a.m. So stay tuned to Pulse 95 as we leave you with a bit of Taylor Swift. And once again, if you'd like to catch up with Murshifad discussions, Ahmed Dawood, where can we catch them?
Head over to Spotify, SoundCloud, or Apple Podcast and type Morning Majlis in the search bar for the latest highlights from our show. Stay tuned to Pulse 95. See you tomorrow at 7 a.m. This is the Morning Majlis.
The heart of Sharjah. This is Pulse 95. Heart of Sharjah.